Hey, what's up guys? KEVINCAGE here with another crypto update. This is going to be a dedicated iTrustCapital video, but first I wanted to dive into some price charts. Then we're going to go over some commonly or frequently asked questions related to a Roth IRA and explain why I personally chose a Roth IRA in the crypto asset class. Hope you enjoy and let's kick it off. All right, let's get into it. We're going to look at the Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin. This is over 10 years of price history, and we're going to focus on the monthly and weekly timeframes only. I don't want to waste my time on the daily or 4-hour because we are talking long-term with a retirement account. So we can see multiple cycles, huge pumps followed by typically a 70 to 90% crash. So we can see again an 85% crash here, give or take from the previous high. This can last hundreds of days. Sometimes, as we can see in this case, it took over 1,000 days for Bitcoin to pass its previous all-time high price. So typically people enter the market during these highs, their friends are making money, they tell their friends and family, their family follows, then a huge crash, and then a multi-year bear market. We can see another massive pump. I didn't get into crypto until 2017, even though my econ professor was talking about it in 2013. I had just no understanding of what, a blockchain was. Then like clockwork, another 70 to 90% crash, and then we begin another cycle. And friendly reminder, from the lows of 3K just a few years ago to the previous all-time high around 69K, we're still talking about a 20x return, as you can see. 80% plus crash, huge pump, 80% plus crash, retracement, another crash, and overall a 20x from that low. And from here, we still witnessed about a 77% crash for Bitcoin. Now looking at monthly oscillators and the RSI on the monthly time frame, this is incredibly telling. So we saw 80% crash right there, 80% crash right there. And now we saw less of a crash in terms of percentages, but the RSI crashed to its lowest low that it's ever had in Bitcoin history. What's great to see is we've crossed through and are now over this 50 line on the monthly RSI for momentum. So that is a very good indicator on the macro, and just keep in mind the Bitcoin halving, whether or not you believe in that cycle, it has happened 3 times in a row for the past 10 years. That is typically a strong indicator. We will see a market retracement for Bitcoin, much more than what we've already seen, and it's also possible to see a new all-time high price. So just pointing out a few things, we are in a clear uptrend. I know on the weekly or daily, it might not seem like that during a bear market, but we have to look back at history. When in doubt, zoom out. We can see acting as support, this 50-month MA, acting as support, acting as support. First time in history we broke below, but now we have closed back above this level. That is a great thing to see. In each impulse, we have seen backtest to previous highs during bear markets, and we can see in this case, we broke and created a new high, but have come back to test the 2017 high. Let me get rid of that and just point out on the oscillators when we enter overbought. So we can see what happened here when the oscillators surpassed 70. On the monthly time frame, which is a big deal, we had, as we can line it up, just a massive pump and a massive climb in price, as you can see. We had the same thing right here all the way to there before we started crashing down, and let's line that up as well. Right there in a massive impulse for the bull run. We can see right here, starting around November 2020, lining up that RSI, we can see another beautiful impulse right there. Now, another thing to note is, and let me zoom in a little bit, so we can see this high and then a higher high, but what we'll notice is there's a bearish divergence from that same level to that previous level. So that was showing some weakness, but we can see we've broken past and we are above the 50 line for the RSI. So friendly reminder, it is common to retest this 50-month moving average on the macro. So just keep in mind that level is right around, we'll say 24.5. And another thing I want to show you really quick is going to some gaps on Bitrue, which is historically illiquid. We can see an open gap on the weekly time frame. So I mean, look at this. An open gap, no price action, no wicks, no candle bodies whatsoever. So this could be a potential confluence or a backtest in the future. I just believe regardless, and not financial advice guys, this is solely my opinion, that Bitcoin heads north of 40K this year. So we can see this gap is still open, and another confluence is that 50-week MA. Of course, during uptrends, we can typically see, huge crashes before recovery like we've seen many times in previous cycles. And just remember, in any uptrend, there are pullbacks on the way up, and they can be pretty sizable. I mean, early days, there were 75% crashes. That's basically what we just endured in the whole crypto bear market for Bitcoin. And once we broke past hitting resistance on this 50-week MA, and we started this uptrend, there were pullbacks on the way up. It was volatile, just like we saw here and here. So very interesting to see right there, and comparing it to there and there. And now looking at where we are. So I'm absolutely open-minded to that. And if you wanted to be unbelievably conservative, just remember for the past 3 cycles over the past 10 years, we have reached the R1 every single time. So whether you believe this is a market retracement, we're going to do another crash, or we're actually en route to a new all-time high price for Bitcoin, I just believe the overall crypto asset class is going to eclipse the value that we've seen thus far. I know the current total market cap is around 1.2 trillion up there. The all-time high was 3 trillion. Not financial advice, but I personally believe, because of a variety of stats of tokenization and globally illiquid assets, and the need to actually plug in and be interoperable with public blockchains for trust and liquidity, this drives demand to the crypto asset class. So Swift, $24 trillion in volumes of tokenized assets by 2027. We could see the tokenization of global illiquid assets, 16 trillion to as high as 68 trillion. And looking at other asset classes, the global stock market and equity market over 100 trillion, bonds, 128 trillion. Commodities, precious metals, rice, fertilizer, 19 trillion, global real estate, 300 trillion, and the derivatives market, which is a little younger than the traditional stock market, is even bigger. So these are massive asset classes that are going to be disrupted thanks to digitalization, but also for better transparency, redundancy, trust, etc. All the benefits that the crypto asset class can provide, and crypto is sitting at a fraction of this wealth. And then one last thing before we dive into the content. So looking at the total market capitalization of all crypto assets combined, 10 plus years old, an ascending channel, 3 trillion is the all-time high. We're just around 1 trillion today. This is why I believe we go to 5 to 8 trillion to 10 trillion plus. Once the infrastructure is built, once there's regulation, that opens up the floodgates for institutional users, banks, new use cases, new markets, etc. I know we talk about patents being, one use case, and that's not a small use case or market. Remember, the IP industry, 30% of the S&P 500 market value is patents alone. So we're talking trillions. If the S&P 500 is around 34 trillion in market cap, you realize 30% is 10 trillion plus right there. So not financial advice, but overall, the macro, I'm talking decades out, it looks extremely promising for the crypto asset class. I personally don't think there will ever be another opportunity in my lifetime like crypto. And I know we're talking about Bitcoin, but overall, Bitcoin is the king of the market for now. The altcoins have a much higher return, but there's a lot more risk. So Bitcoin, store value, maybe a safer pick in the long term. But remember that Bitcoin, after each cycle, has diminishing returns. I'm much more interested in asymmetric potential, where there's risk, don't get me wrong, but the reward is 10x or 100x higher. So I'll explain my thoughts on why I have crypto exposure in a Roth IRA. You can still have a 401k with your employer. You can still have a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA in a variety of indices in the stock market in the S&P 500. But since a Roth IRA is a tax-free investment vehicle, I'm making sure I'm keeping it long term. So for anybody that may not be super familiar with a Roth IRA, we're going to dive into the basics of this and who it's right for. Because it's not right for everybody, but it was right for me, and I'll explain why. So remember that iTrustCapital is valued at $1.3 billion. There are no monthly fees. This is 24/7, 365 trading for crypto assets, precious metals. They're going to be adding private placement, tokenized real estate, and dozens of other crypto assets. We'll talk about their integrations and, additional opportunities to earn yield on USD. And I'll be quick about this. We cover this in every single iTrustCapital video, so be sure to check out that playlist, go through the reviews, and do your own research with this one. And please always consult a professional. I'm just going to share my experience and why I chose a Roth IRA. And just remember, if you want to create a free account, this is linked in the pinned comment in the top of the YouTube video description. If you use that link and you create an account, you also get a $100 funding reward. So they've completed their integration with Fortress. We'll talk about a few things and then dive into a Roth IRA. So I'm super excited for what this is bringing to iTrustCapital. As you can see, we're excited in the future to be able to introduce additional alternative assets like fractional real estate, private equity, and interest-earning cash sweeps on FBO client US dollar positions, as well as recurring contributions in DCAing. Remember that Fortress is integrated with Allnodes. This website is allnodes.com. So keep an eye on this, the #1 verified provider, over 70 protocols, trusted by some exchanges, MetaMask and Consensus. Right now, with the value of hosted nodes over $2 billion, and the cool thing about this is your coins stay in your wallet. They only need your public address, not your private keys, no sensitive information that could put your holdings at risk. So I'm super excited to see dozens of more assets that are going to be listed to iTrustCapital in the future, still waiting on QNT and HBAR. So be sure to check it out. Now let's talk about a Roth IRA. So what is an IRA? This stands for an individual retirement account. So these two tax-advantaged retirement accounts can invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and other investments like crypto. Now, a few considerations you want to do before you make a decision between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA is ask a few questions. Will your tax rate be lower or higher during your retirement? And why would anybody choose a Roth IRA to begin with? So me personally, I already had a Roth IRA in the S&P 500, just playing it safe in a traditional index, and you can have more than one Roth IRA. But what's important is how much you can contribute to per year. If you can't contribute any more, you can still earn yield on it or at least compound it each year. So a Roth IRA was a great fit for me because I first had a Roth IRA as soon as I turned 18 because I had time on my side. I chose a Roth IRA rather than a traditional because of the following reasons. So in a traditional IRA, whether it's crypto or stocks, your contributions to the IRA would be tax deductible, sometimes called investing pre-tax dollars. So you would not have to pay any income tax when you make the initial investment up front. You could invest the full amount, $1K, $10K, etc. Years later though, your initial investment plus whatever you earn, capital gains, interest, dividend earnings, they would be taxed at ordinary income. So if you put in, $5,000 and it was worth $500K years down the road, you'd be paying taxes later on that full amount of all of your earnings. Now, what would be cool about and the benefit of a traditional IRA, and I'm sorry if I said traditional Roth, there's no such thing, it's Roth or traditional, is when you started your traditional IRA and you're in a 30% tax bracket when you started, but when you retire and you withdraw this IRA, what if you're in a lower tax bracket at 25%? You would actually be saving more and you'd be able to pay less in taxes as well because your income was lower during retirement. So that's one thing to consider. So for some people that might be, 53, 54, they say, you know what, let's start one because I want to ride this wave of crypto for the next 5 years. Now for a Roth IRA, and why I chose it is because you rip the band-aid off and you're taxed up front. So what's the benefit? Is at retirement, when you withdraw your earnings, 100% of your earnings are 100% tax-free, meaning you pay 0% in capital gains. So this is why I've had a Roth IRA in crypto for years and with iTrustCapital for over 3 years now. Because if my assets mature, and keep in mind, I can actively trade and rebalance my portfolio on my phone or on my PC 24/7, 365 and trade settle instantly. The whole platform is free besides a 1% transaction fee. And you don't have to trade, but at least during these cycles, I plan to rebalance just like I did in 2021. And even after a crazy move, I'm not going to sell the top in crypto, but if I can take 50% and just put it into the US dollar and wait for a bear market, I can improve my position massively. So if I started with an account and crypto mooned and I earned 5 million, I'm keeping all of that 5 million. And all eligible distributions with a Roth IRA are 100% tax-free. So that's why I want that in the crypto asset class specifically, and the asymmetric returns can happen if you make the right picks. And as I've shared before, my Roth IRA in crypto has outperformed what I did in the S&P 500 by multiple 100%. So that's what I've chosen for myself, guys. Remember, this is not financial or legal advice. Please always consult a professional because everybody's situation is different tax bracket, different situation with, 401ks or anything in between. Now, who would typically contribute into a Roth IRA? It could be someone that wants to diversify their holdings for tax-free advantages. Maybe they already maxed out their 401k at work and they still want to make contributions. I understand the sentiment of people saying, 401ks are scams. I used to contribute to a 401k as well, and I tried to max out my benefits because anybody that maybe does it now, yeah, it's a different landscape. But for the past 20 years, if you were getting stock options and discounts, it was profitable. You were smart. So I think everybody's situation is different. Another person that could contribute to a Roth IRA is somebody that is in between jobs or left their employer and they want to roll their 401k into a Roth. Maybe they already have a 401k and a traditional IRA in the stock market or in mutual funds and they want to diversify. Maybe it's an 18-year-old kid, and this is what I did, and they want to begin utilizing a popular investment vehicle in a nascent asset class. I wish I would have had a Roth IRA in crypto at age 18. That would have been crazy. And another person that may want to contribute, maybe it's somebody that is already close to the age of retirement. Maybe they have 6 or 7 years away and they said, you know what, I want to invest in the crypto market with a Roth IRA instead of paying 40% in short-term capital gains by not leveraging this type of investment vehicle. So it's a case-by-case situation. In terms of investing, everybody has to ask their time horizon. What are your expectations? When do you need this buy? So you have to decide. Do you want to go higher risk in crypto? Do you want to be lower risk in bonds? You have to decide for yourselves. In terms of portfolio allocation and diversification, how much exposure do you want in each of these asset classes? Do you want to focus on what you know best? Do you want to be heaviest in this one but still have a hedge in another asset class? You have the option of bonds, stocks, crypto, commodities, real estate, or be, super conservative with a high yield savings account, money market accounts, CDs, which I'm not doing, but you can pick your poison. There's no right way, there's just your way. Now with a Roth IRA, there is a 5-year rule, and this is important to understand. So at age 59 and a half, you can withdraw both contributions and earnings with no penalty, provided that your Roth IRA has been open for at least 5 years. So there might be people out there that are, 48 or 52, and they said, you know what, I'm investing in the crypto, but I'm potentially still going to pay high in taxes, whether it's long-term or short-term capital gains, especially if they continue to raise taxes. Now, when you meet the 5-year rule, you pay 0 taxes and no penalties. And the cool thing about a Roth IRA as well is all contributions, not the profits, but your contributions, can be withdrawn at any time. As you can see, withdrawals of Roth IRA contributions are always both tax-free and penalty-free entirely. So be sure to check it out. Remember, there's TSPs, 401ks, 403bs. If you're a business owner, there are other tools and different types of tax-advantaged accounts. Hope you enjoyed this video and have an amazing weekend, and I will catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.